distinguished guests and attendees, welcome to the 38th Annual IDA Documentary Awards. Known for co-creating FX's Reservation Dogs, please welcome Sterlin Harjo.
Hello. Oh, okay, I have a prompter. All right. I have two, though, so I can go either way. I can look at you or I can look at you. My name is Sterlin Harjo, and I did create Reservation Dogs, so thank you very much. While IDA's 40 years in Los Angeles is a long time in our industry, these lands have been the home of Native peoples for centuries. Yeah. You're meant to clap every time I end something strongly. On behalf of the IDA, we acknowledge our presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Gabrielino, Tongva, Tataviam, and Chumash, and other indigenous peoples. We thank, And one more clap for that. Yeah. We thank the caretakers of this land who have lived here since time immemorial. We pay respects to the ancestors, elders, and relatives past and present. And as important, this is what I added, as important as land acknowledgements are, it is even more important to learn and understand the history of indigenous people that are alive and well today. And now enjoy the annual IDA Awards. Thank you.
We've been down so long, we ain't got no other way to go but up.
At the time in the way that I felt would be most true to myself.
Поэтому бездействовать не надо.
She is a former labor organizer turned writer, actor, and one of Variety's 10 comedians to watch. Catch her in Netflix's upcoming action drama, The Brother's Son. Please welcome your host, Jenny Yang.
Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight? Are you feeling good? I'm just doing a crowd check. How are you feeling? Did you get drinks? Oh, did you hear the grumpy side? No. Did you get past hors d'oeuvres? The little poke cucumbers, little impossible meatballs? Let's give it up for catering. Well, I'm Jenny Yang, and I am your host for tonight. I am so honored. And this is the first in-person IDA Awards since the start of the pandemic. So give your round. Yeah, we are here together. Let's keep it, keep clapping for yourselves. Look at each other. Really be present. How gorgeous. Exactly. Compliment your neighbor. I saw that. But like, I don't want to admit this, but I'm a little nervous because hosting tonight's award requires that I have to be like neutral, right? I have to stay neutral. But I just can't. I can't, okay? I'm just gonna say it. Tonight, I am rooting for my personal favorite documentaries, Bachelor in Paradise, Bling Empire, Love is Blind, Give Them Their Flowers. What was that? They're not nominated? These are real people with real lives. Of course I read the nominees list. Okay, nominees. Stock trading, plane crashes, militarization of police departments, police violence against trans women, Sinead O'Connor, dying from opioids, dying from a volcano, dying from Russian poisoning, Beirut explosion, lots of people dying. Chicano rights, Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Bill Cosby. Okay, lots of racism, got it. That's my bad. I wasn't clear on what this was, I'm sorry. Okay, now, to be fair, Bachelor in Paradise, also very bleak. Very. Okay, so let me just reset here. Okay. I do what I do because of my mom. Before working in Hollywood, I was a labor organizer here in Southern California, yay, woohoo! One of my earliest memories as a young immigrant from Taiwan was me at 5 years old. Imagine same face, same bangs, smaller, whatever, but smaller. Every night after dinner, my mom would make us. I would watch her Asian squat, like over the tub, because she would hand wash all of our undergarments. And so like, for this family of 5, so every night she's like, have like this t-shirt and with wet knuckles and just wringing it out, and the water would come out, and she would wring it again, and less would come out, and she would, just when I think she couldn't wring it anymore, she would just wring it one more time. It would go with that single drop, and I thought, wow, my mom is the most powerful human ever. Yeah. Unfortunately, she disagreed with me. One time she came home from her job at the garment factory and blew her nose out, and because I was a gross 5-year-old, I peeked inside the tissue and it was gray. I was like, Mom, why is your snot gray? And she would say to me something she would repeat many times in my childhood. She said, well, your mom is stupid. I didn't get enough education. I sew collars for 2 cents a piece and breathe in fibers in a dirty factory with no ventilation. Don't be like me. Listen to your teachers and get 100% A's, and you will live a good life. Hearing my mom talk about herself this way broke my heart, but it worked. I became a straight A student, got into Ivy League schools. I was living a good life. And as a union organizer and eventually as a TV writer, actor, and comedian, I've gotten to experience what it feels like to not just live well, but feel empowered, right? I've been able to lead rallies of thousands of union members in front of the LA County Board of Supervisors to fight for a better contract. I've been able to tell jokes in front of thousands of people as a comedian and make them laugh and think. I get to be seen, I get to be heard, I get to feel powerful. But my success didn't change how my mom felt. She still didn't speak English, didn't drive, stayed in backbreaking jobs she hated while devoting her life to everyone but herself. People like my mom don't get to feel seen. They don't get to feel heard. But they deserve to feel powerful too. This is my calling, and I believe I'm in a room full of people who share this calling. I'm here because there are so many of us who deserve to be seen and heard. People like my mom, all 5 foot tall of her, right? With her curly Asian mom perm. She deserves to feel more powerful too. So your dedication, your calling, it's to tell the truth. You expose, celebrate, correct, and discover the truth. When the world can be so heartbreaking, documentary storytellers like you help us to appreciate the beauty and make sense of the senseless. Tonight's nominees embody the importance of storytelling, creativity, diversity, and journalistic rigor. You illuminate the resilience of the human condition amidst a critical juncture, a climate crisis, a refugee crisis, a racial reckoning, and a time when authoritarianism is pitted against the values closest to our hearts. And you do so with honesty, authenticity, urgency, and care. So tonight is a thank you to all of you, our international community of documentary storytellers. Tonight, we celebrate you for making us reflect, calling us to action, and warming our hearts. Now, before winners are announced and people have to feel like losers, give yourselves a round of applause. Feel the love. Do you feel that? Do you feel the love, all that you've accomplished? Yes, take it in. And finally, a very special thanks to the IDA staff for making tonight happen. A round of applause for them, please. Thank you, IDA staff, for making such a beautiful event happen. And now, on with the show. Our first presenter is the Peabody and Emmy Award-winning correspondent for NBC News and MSNBC, and co-host of one of this year's IDA-nominated hit podcasts, South Lake. Please welcome Antonia Hylton.
Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here with all of you. The Pare Lorentz Award is named for the visionary documentarian who is committed to social justice and work that serves as a voice for the voiceless. This year, an honorable mention goes to Nuisance Bear, an unconventional and visually stunning study of the impact of climate change on humanity and nature that centers on the polar bears who draw tourists to the Canadian town of Churchill, Manitoba. Let's give Nuisance Bear another round of applause. This year's award-winning film is a provocative and poetic meditation that follows two brothers on their devoted quest to save the majestic black kite, a bird of prey essential to the ecosystem of environmentally contested New Delhi. The 2022 Pare Lorentz Award goes to All That Breathes. Let's take a look.
All That Breathes.
जिंदगी खुद एक तरह की रिश्तेदारी है। हम सब हवा की बिरादरी हैं। जो चीजें सांस लेती हैं, उनमें कोई फर्क नहीं दिखना चाहिए।
Now, please welcome to the stage the director of this year's Pare Lorentz winner, All That Breathes, Shaunak Sen.
Thank you so very much for this award. It feels especially meaningful given this room and the specific people in it. The film sort of began as a kind of vague interest in the stunning grayness of the air and the sky in the city of New Delhi. From that vague image to now, various people in this room have been, often unknowingly, key coordinates without who the film would never have seen the light of day. From the earliest grants from IDFA and Sundance and Tribeca and Catapult, to the various wonderful pitching forums around the world, to our beloved producers, Aman and Teddy, to David and Sean at Tanglebank, to the many people here who gave feedback on awful and unending rough cuts, to the various festivals that finally screened the film, the film would probably still be a .mov file languishing on a hard drive somewhere, were it not for Cinetic, Acme, and our wonderful distributors Submarine Deluxe, Sideshow, Dog Woof, and HBO Documentary Films. There is, of course, no film without the singular work of the brothers Nadeem and Saud, our characters, and our family-like crew across Delhi, Copenhagen, and London. I've been reading up recently on Pare Lorentz and his remarkable work and vision in recent days, and we're all genuinely honored and humbled to be awarded a prize in his name. Thank you so much, and I hope you don't mind me reading it. I was nervous that I'd forget somebody's name, so I wrote it down. Thank you.
Next, we have the Student Documentary Film Award. This is an award that is given to nonfiction filmmakers working in universities and art schools around the globe. The award comes with a $1,000 cash prize. These emerging voices in documentary film are paving new roads in the tradition of the award's namesake, the late trailblazing producer David L. Wolper, who brought us works as varied as the documentary Imagine John Lennon and the landmark miniseries Roots. Let's look at this year's nominees.
3 Promises.
ماما خلتني أوعدها ب3 وعود. لما وصلت بريطانيا خلفت الوعود وبقيت لاجئ.
What does that mean for you? Why does that mean that you feel you can't present yourself to the Egyptian authorities?
ما قدرتش أقول لماما قد إيه حياتي اتغيرت هنا.
أنت بتعرفش تكذب.
They suggested it could be a long wait.
Compton's 22.
There's a power in the transgender experience because who you become, the generations that come after you rely on that.
Eagles rest in Liangshan. La Casa del Migrante.
Nos mandan a decir que querían hacer una inspección de lugar. Y lo que hicieron fueron venir a demoler el lugar. Empezaron a tirar el drop ceiling, sacando cables de arriba. Vinieron, rompieron, dejaron así todo y se fueron. A la siguiente semana me querían tener una inspección otra vez, pero era por parte de la ciudad. Era una del departamento de drogas y pandillas.
How do you live here? Business got bought out.
Requiem for a Whale.
מה, אתה ככה מתקשר לאנשים ככה שצילמו שם?
לא חשבת שתהיה קברן אי פעם.
אני לא רוצה להיות כזאת פסימית, אבל כאילו המוות אורב לנו בפרידה.
Distinguished guests and attendees, the winner of the 2022 David L. Wolper Student Award is Requiem for a Whale.
Didn't saw that coming, really. I'm really overwhelmed and surprised. I know that every award is surprising, but this one is really unbelievable. It's from the encounter with a dead whale through the independent process of bringing it to life, with nothing but just believing that it's a film worth making, to standing here, it's just pure magic. And that's what a documentary film can bring it. And I want to thank the IDA for this truly unbelievable honor. I want to thank my editor, Alex Husid, who, probably watching it, you're brilliant, and this award is equally yours. Guy, the best friend and producer who made this film possible. Dan for the amazing score, Peleg Arava, Netal Iran, and so many more. Tal, Asaf, and Lutfi for being willing to share their thoughts and feelings. My family, Ima, Tomer, Orly, Ran, and Anat. Shira, who's filming right now. You're my everlasting ship, and you carry me in troubled water, and I love you. And to my late father and my eternal lighthouse, who in his own ways made this moment, in fact, believable. Kobe Wiseman, I love you and I miss you. Thank you so much.
Our next presenter is the higher education correspondent at NPR station KPCC 89.3 FM and host of this year's IDA-nominated podcast, Imperfect Paradise, The Forgotten Revolutionary. Please welcome Adolfo Guzman-Lopez.
So while the runtime may be short, these nominees prove that all you need for riveting and ambitious storytelling is a single moment. Showcasing bold, human-centered, independent storytelling, this year's nominees take us on visceral, investigative, timely, and wondrous journeys into the world of couples therapy, the unregulated behemoth that is the cosmetic industry, time-honored indigenous wisdom, and the diversity of the American South. Let's see this year's nominees for Best Short Form Series.
Couples therapy.
In couples therapy, the truth wants to come out, and then there's a fear that it's going to destroy something.
We were in an argument. India said to me, that's why I didn't want to have a baby with you.
He said, I almost gave up on dating black women.
I don't think that you have been doing the work that you say you have.
To help a couple, it takes some capacity to care for each other.
Not so pretty.
Almost every chemical you can imagine has been regulated except for the chemicals we use in everyday personal care products.
You would assume that whatever you're buying, because it's on the shelf, it's safe.
Babies are being born pre-polluted.
There is no one to protect us.
It is one of the big crises of our times.
POV shorts.
I never set out to make documentaries starring my mother.
Well, I'd always hoped that you would have children, and they'll be my grandchildren.
In trying to preserve manzanar, I've sort of turned a negative experience and tried to use it to educate other people and to try to learn a lesson.
Reciprocity Project.
It's the land of our ancestors. We've always lived here.
To be able to share what we have with other people, it's medicine. It truly is medicine.
We're here as guests, and we're here to be as careful and as responsible as we can be.
We are stewards of the earth. We need to take care of what's important to us.
Witness.
There's a point where, as a young black person, the world shows you what it means to be black.
Algo, o que al menos tratar de que esa mala imagen en cierto momento desapareciera o
And the award for Best Short Form Series goes to POV Shorts.
Wow, this is exciting, and I'm not really ready for this, but I want to thank IDA for recognizing what we've been doing for the past 5 years, and I also want to make sure that we recognize the work of Opal Hope Bennett, who curates the series. Yeah, she's pretty awesome, and has really made it what it is. And also Chris White, who's executive producer of the series as well. POV Shorts started as an idea. We wanted to find a way to bring in different types of films, and it has grown over the years. And we appreciate that all of you recognize what we're doing and how we're trying to bring in different points of view, different ideas, different countries, different people. And again, I'm overwhelmed. I did not expect that we would win this award, but I'm extremely grateful, and I am so glad that you recognize the hard work of our team. And I have to say, as I was watching the pieces from all of the other nominees, wow, I want to see everything that's been up there. So thank you so much, and we're so excited to win. Thank you.
So the ongoing pandemic has revealed a growing demand for the ease of viewing in the comfort of our own homes. Our next award marks a new category for the IDA and honors works made exclusively for broadcast or streaming. This year's nominees for Best TV Feature Documentary or Miniseries showcase the human cost of authoritarianism, the triumph of women's sports, and a celebration of an underrepresented civil rights activist. The nominees illuminate stories both intimate and sweeping and exemplify the best in archival research and innovative storytelling. Let's see this year's nominees for Best TV Feature Documentary or Miniseries.
Chernobyl, The Lost Tapes.
An accident at the Chernobyl power station.
People were injured and may have died.
Здоровых людей после аварии, по крайней мере, мне такие неизвестны.
Dream On.
The NBA believes the time is right for a major promotion of women's basketball.
For the NBA, we saw on the national team an opportunity to test the waters.
We might be able to launch a professional women's league, but we can only do it if we win.
I didn't do it for myself, but I did it to change the minds of other people.
Endangered.
As journalists, we can't let the truth down. We are moderators of fact.
Government's attacking journalists is not new.
Oh, look at all the fake news.
This is happening widespread also.
Press freedom in the United States is starting to look like many other countries around the world. That profound crisis is not going away.
Fannie Lou Hamer's America, an America Reframed special.
One day you'll be proud when you can say, Senator Fannie Lou Hamer, because I'm on my way there. Freedom is not something that's put in your lap. You got to stand up.
All across this country, they know what they've done to us.
I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave?
4 hours at the Capitol.
It just never occurred to me that a mob would get into the Capitol building.
When you really believe a tyrannical government is taking over the country, you're gonna have some crazy stuff go down.
It was soccer moms, truck drivers. It was America.
People with pitchforks, baseball bats sticking out of their bag. People in full, tactical outfits.
Individuals themselves aren't usually a problem, but when they get together and they create a mob, the mob is the weapon.
The award for Best TV Feature Documentary or Miniseries goes to Fannie Lou Hamer's America, an American Reframed Special.
Y'all did that. Thank you. So it's funny. We were talking a little bit ago because we were hoping we were going to win this. We were hoping. The person who really seeded this is a woman by the name of Monica Land. She is Fannie Lou Hamer's great niece, and for 10 years she worked on this film in Mississippi. With a really tight group of people, and we said if we're going to win, we're going to read her words. So she sent something that I'm going to read it to you, because it's important that we send her Monica, and Joy, you all did a great job on this, but I want to send her Monica, and this is from Monica. And she's watching. She is watching. I like to thank the IDA for their acknowledgement and for seeing what we saw, that my Aunt Fannie Lou's story was simple and remarkable, and that she needed to be heard. She needed to tell it. This wasn't just my project, but it was touched by so many hands and so many hearts. And I am grateful for everyone who helped us create this beautiful tribute to my Aunt Fannie Lou, especially my mom, Mary Land, who put up with my mood swings for 15 years. She wants to say a special thanks to Mayor Parkin Brooks, Davis Hoke, Judd Oppenheimer. She wants to thank her funders, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, and the many other funders who came along with us. She wants to also thank World Channel, GBH, the Mississippi Humanities Council, PBS, Jonathan Logan Foundation, Black Public Media, Ford Foundation. As you can tell, this was a work of love of many people. And she especially wants us to thank Selena Leitner and Joy for working with her over the many years to bring this powerful story. We thank you so much for this award.
I'm back. This year's nominees for Best Feature Documentary We're gonna start over. This year's nominees for Best Feature Documentary use the feature film format as their playground and laboratory. From harrowing, character-driven quests for truth to sweeping landscapes of environmentally contested terrain, tonight's Best Feature Documentary nominees bring us global stories that are topical, majestic, and irreverent. And now, let's take a look at the first 5 nominees for Best Documentary Feature Film.
All That Breathes.
जब हम पहली चील घर लाए, मैं देर रात जागकर उसे घूरता था। खूंखार रेप्टाइल लगती थी किसी और प्लेनेट से।
मैंने अपनी पूरी लाइफ इसको डिवोट कर दिया है।
All the Beauty and the Bloodshed.
There's the Sackler family, you have the art world, the museum world, and philanthropy. And then there's the big pharma marketing and addiction and death.
My anger at the Sackler family, it's personal. When you think of the profit of people's pain, you can only be furious.
Fire of Love.
This is Katya, and this is Maurice. Tomorrow will be their last day. They will leave behind hundreds of hours of footage, thousands of photos, and a million questions.
A House Made of Splinters.
Каждый ребенок оставляет неизгладимый след на стенах приюта, на нас и на друзьях, которых они находят здесь.
Что?
Жизнь здесь всегда была тяжелой, но война сделала все еще хуже. Но надежда все еще мерцает здесь.
Katrina Babies.
Hurricane Katrina caused one of the biggest disbursements of black people in history.
After losing so much, why wouldn't anyone ask if we were okay? Nobody ever asked the children how they were doing. So I am.
Yes. Skillful and creative use of archival news footage can enlighten us about the past in poignant and unexpected ways. ABC News Video Source Award is given each year for the best use of news footage as an integral component in a documentary. The award comes with a $5,000 cash honorarium and research time at the ABC News Video Source facility in New York. Let's take a look at this year's ABC News Video Source nominees.
Diamond Hands, The Legend of Wall Street Bets.
This is the first time that somebody with a very small amount of money can go get involved in the stock market. You have absolute freedom. That is unheard of before things like Robinhood.
Who wins and loses when short sellers, social media, and retail investors collide?
Robinhood cheaters.
You can't buy more.
All of us know things aren't fair.
We're sold a narrative that isn't real. You're telling us, oh, we want you to invest in the free market. That's a lie, too.
Downfall, The Case Against Boeing.
I got a call from one of his colleagues. We are not able to find his aircraft.
Fly up! Fly up!
Safety is at the core of who we are at Boeing.
2 crashes of brand new airplanes within 5 months of each other, that doesn't happen in modern aviation.
And the question was, did Boeing put an unsafe plane in the air?
Love and the Constitution.
Some of our members started to say, Trump's not worth it, the president's not worth it. The question is whether the Constitution is worth it.
I know one thing really well, which is about the Constitution and the rule of law and American democracy. We're not unified by being one ethnicity or one religion. We're unified by one Constitution.
The Price of Conflict.
Антитерористична операція на Сході із локальної перетворилася на війну.
Предприятия угольной промышленности Донецкой Народной Республики готовы принять на работу более 3700 шахтеров.
Нашу шахту Никанор Новая закрываем.
Мы сейчас без ничего, у нас 20 месяцев задолженности.
Это сделали украинские власти. Ввели сплошную экономическую блокаду.
Riotsville, USA.
The report of the President's Commission on Riots will tell white America that the United States is a racist country.
That's what we do in this society. We appoint a committee and we investigate. Ergo, something's being done. That's just simply not true.
1967 had given the establishment proof that something was broken and being born.
And the winner is Riotsville, USA.
Thank you so much for this award on behalf of the entire Riotsville team, Sarah, Jamila, Kareen, Toby, Nels, Jace, Charlotte, XRM, Lindley, Magnolia, Cinetic, and many others. With Riotsville, we set out to make a film about two inextricably linked parts of America: militarized violence against Black people, even under the guise of progress, and the role the news media plays in creating and perpetuating the dangerous narratives that we all end up living by, and often fighting against. We started this film in 2015. It would be impossible to make it today. Increasing corporate consolidation of the news media, branded streaming content, and chilling and insidious limitations placed on archival access outside of corporate conglomerates are a real threat to independent filmmakers. If we continue down this path, the American people will be left with a historical record of their country, past, present, and future, that is manufactured and sanitized to serve corporate goals, not democratic ones. Archives are political. It is crucial that we're able to resurface that which has been deliberately forgotten or hidden. Those of you who work in enforced studios, I ask you to push back on these tendencies. Demand transparency, less draconian licensing fees, and a premium placed on public access. It is not the biggest action or the most dramatic, but our democracy will be healthier for it. Thank you very much. Defund the police. And I also want to thank my mom, who I miss a lot. Thank you.
We had an ACAB moment, all right. In a frenzied world of programming options, the following nominees distinguish themselves for their ability to curate thoughtful, distinct slates of nonfiction programming. Let's look at this year's nominees for Best Curated Series.
America Reframed.
I think it speaks volumes about us as humans, how we always want to go back.
The cry of hunger is the cry of hunger, whether it's come from black, white, brown, or red.
I'm not broken, and a lot of us addicts, we're doing what we can.
American Masters.
I realized that he had a real affection for me.
Let's forget this and get on to something dirty or obscene.
Fiction gave you a place of safety. It wasn't about you, but it was about you.
Aloha.
Why not Men in Tutus?
I just don't do shows. They must have meaning.
Independent Lens.
It's very helpful that we know what's going on in the community.
I know that this is not a perfect community. I am committed to being part of that change.
Is it over? It's not never over. It's just the beginning.
POV.
I wanted to make a film about our eyes are the world.
Too often, we see education as a gift to be bestowed upon Black students instead of as a public good to be accessed.
You are the hope for Zimbabwe.
Every mountain up here has a story behind it. Those are part of who we are and where we come from.
可以相互之间共同打气。
Real South.
To realize how quickly a life that you're living can come to an end.
You're not taking my gator. You'll have to shoot me too.
There's stuff that happens in our lives. Well, you just got to get past it and go about your business and try to be better. That's what I'm trying to do.
And the 2022 Best Curated Series Award goes to POV. Yeah!
This is exciting and overwhelming. I really, again, want to say just how much I love and respect all of the series that were nominated. I think it's just a phenomenal body of work in total. And I'm just glad we have the ability through public television to bring all of these films and all of these issues and all of these ideas to the American audience. And I also want to thank our POV team. Our curation of this series is teamwork. We have a group within the organization, Chris White, Opal Bennett, Anique Laurent, Carrie Lavier, and Robert Chang, who really work to bring the best of what we find to the audience. And we also involve different stations. We have people who spend a lot of time going through our editorial committee, which has been described as Film Fight Club, and helps us to bring the best films that we can to our audiences. And again, I'm really excited and almost speechless. This for me is speechless. And again, I just want to say thank you to IDA. Thank you to all of you. And I just also want to salute all of the filmmakers and all of the series that are doing the work of bringing the stories that we need to hear in the way we need to hear them to audiences that deserve to see them. Thank you.
Our next presenter is a two-time Sundance Grand Jury Prize winner and one of this year's IDA nominees for Best Writing. Please welcome Ondi Timoner.
Before I announce the awards, because we're at an awards ceremony, I just want to say that all of you in this room really truly have won by making this decision to be telling stories that matter, the truth beneath the headlines, the truth that becomes the headlines. Over 50% of what's watched these days is nonfiction. So what you're doing is just pursuing endless learning, connection, opening hearts and minds, and hopefully changing the world. And so I just want to say you're all winners to me. On that note, yeah. Audio documentaries and podcasts immerse us in gripping narratives and transformative soundscapes while defying genre, building community, and paving innovative paths from their roots in oral traditions and radio. The nominees for the Best Standalone Audio Documentary Award are
Documenting a Death by Euthanasia, Jorge Gina y Dante. Limbo from Latino USA, Futura Media, and PRX. Replaying the Day through the Seawall Ferry Archives. Weekend World.
And the 2022 Best Standalone Audio Documentary Award goes to Documenting a Death by Euthanasia.
Hi, give me 1 second here, organize myself. Okay, I'm sorry, I've been nominated for this award like 3 and 4 times, including this year, and so I've been waiting a really long time to stand on this stage and accept an award. I want to start by thanking Lindsay Adario, who is my collaborator for, I think about 6 to 8 months on this piece. We called each other on the phone almost every morning, and I just want to acknowledge the effort and work that she put into this. I want to say that I accept this award in large part because of the work that Lindsay put into it. And I do accept it with some hesitance. Since submitting this piece, I've thought long and hard about what it means to have my work associated with the New York Times, and especially in the last month or so. Just 2 days ago, thousands of Times employees walked out, not just journalists, but also security and IT and sales employees, after management refused to negotiate for a contract that would allow for a salary floor of $65,000. The company has refused it, even as they've also authorized $150 million in stock buyback, and its CEO received a $1.4 million raise between 2020 and 2021. The same month that the New York Times has published obituaries for people killed at a queer bar in Colorado, they've also published op-eds that question the validity of those very identities, the validity of those trans and queer identities, which is often justified in the name of open discourse. But to me, those identities and lived experiences are not up for debate. And so I just want to say that I'm really appreciative of this award, and I'm really appreciative of this acknowledgement. But I think the New York Times needs to negotiate with its workers. I think it needs to bring back a public editor and fact checkers. I think the executives need to take a pay cut so that their workers can have a living wage. If you're going to claim to stand by values, we can't just say it. We can't stop at DEI trainings and boilerplate messages about equality on company letterhead. We have to live by those values, even and especially when it's uncomfortable. So thank you again for this acknowledgement of my work, and I hope that whoever's listening takes these words to heart. Trans, black, and brown workers and unions, trans, black, and brown people, workers and unions have done far more for me than any institution or award ever has, and I stand with them today and every day. Thank you.
The sequential episode format invites us to be engrossed by the story, allowing us to get to know the characters, the facts, and nuances. Here are the nominees for the Best Multi-Part Audio Documentary or Series.
Class Action, Heavyweight, Imperfect Paradise, The Forgotten Revolutionary, Southlake, Stolen, Surviving St. Michael's.
And the 2022 Best Multi-Part Audio Documentary Award goes to Stolen, Surviving St. Michael's.
Thank you so much. This is incredible. Stolen, Surviving St. Michael's is a story about my father, Howard Cameron. He was Cree from Treaty 6 territory in Saskatchewan. And when he was 6 years old, he was sent to the St. Michael's Indian Residential School in Duck Lake, Saskatchewan. And this story began as an attempt to try to uncover what happened to him at that school and how it shaped the father he became to me. But as many stories do, it turned into so much more. We ended up telling the story of not just my father and my family, but generations of Indigenous families who survived genocide. I'm so grateful for the team that we worked with on Surviving St. Michael's. Ellen, Frank Min, Max Green, Anya Schultz, Chantel Belrichard, I don't want to forget anyone, Betty Ann Adam, Heather Evans, Devin Taylor, and Emma Munger. And I want to say a special thanks to my family, to my husband Chuck and my daughter Sequin, my mom, My brothers and sisters and all my aunts and uncles who shared my father's story with me, and to all of the survivors of St. Michael's who trusted us to tell their stories. As a daughter, it was really difficult to learn what my father endured. But I'm so grateful to do this work because Indigenous people have so many stories to tell, and we should be supported to tell our own stories. Thank you very much.
Please welcome IDA Executive Director Rick Perez and IDA Board Co-Presidents Grace Lee and Chris Perez.
Good evening. As we celebrate the exceptional work of this year's nominees, I'd like to thank IDA staff, past and present, as well as the organization's founders and our current and former board members. Together, you built an organization unlike any in the field. I'd also like to thank the sponsors of the 38th IDA Documentary Awards, ABC News Video Source, Amazon Studios, HBO Max, National Geographic Documentary Films, Our American Family, a documentary film directed and produced by Haley Adelman and Sean King O'Grady, Participant Media, CBS, Showtime, PBS, very different. There's a typo, this guy. PBS, Showtime, and Variety. I have to acknowledge this year has been a challenging one for IDA. But I'm thrilled that today we're back together in person to celebrate the work of outstanding filmmakers. So I have to congratulate everyone in this room and all our nominees for the contribution to the field. You've done amazing work in a very, very difficult period. So my gratitude and the IDA's gratitude goes out to you all.
And of course, we have to thank all of you for supporting this organization. Now in our 40th year, we have flourished on a foundation built by generations of filmmakers, staffers, advocates, generous funders, and avid lovers of the form. So I invite you to be a part of IDA's next 40 years.
Yes, it really is great to be in community with everyone here. And earlier this year, IDA recognized 5 outstanding members of our community at an intimate in-person event that followed the virtual 37th IDA Documentary Awards. Tonight, we honor them again. Now, let's get back to the show.
Our next presenter is the Executive Director of American Documentary and POV, and Executive Producer of the Tribeca Award-winning documentary, In Transit. Please welcome Erika Dilday.
Music has the power to inspire, thrill, or leave us in suspense. Whether it's spiriting us up an exciting peak or drawing us down into a mysterious valley, the collaboration between composer and filmmaker are instrumental in shaping the emotional resonance of a documentary. The nominees for the Best Music Score are
The Fire That Took Her, Good Night Oppie, Master of Light, The Melt Goes On Forever, The Art and Times of David Hammons, Wildcat.
And the 2022 Best Music Score Award goes to The Melt Goes On Forever, The Art and Times of David Hammons.
paper. Thanks to my wife, Vanessa. I didn't need the paper for that one, but thanks to director, producers, Judd Tully, Harold Crooks, Andrew Mayer, and Lisa Cortez. I'd like to thank all the musicians who did such a fantastic job having to record this whole score remotely. And for some of the special guests, Marshall Allen from the Sun Ra Orchestra, who was 98 when I recorded him, and he's still playing. To Shabaka Hutchings, Idris Akamor, to Umar from The Last Poets, to my mixing engineer, Rod Shearer, and of course to David Hammonds, who I haven't met, but whose art inspired not only this score, but every score I've done since then. So thank you, David. Otak Timin Moa. Thank you.
Editors are often essential collaborators in documentary filmmaking, using their formidable capacity for nonlinear thinking to pull stories out of the raw material, poring over hours of footage to craft the films we love and admire. The nominees for Best Editing are
All That Breathes, Fire of Love, The Princess, Sam Now, Wildcat.
And the 2022 Best Editing Award goes to All That Breathes.
Expect this. Wow, I haven't done this before. Thank you so much to IDA and the jury members. I know this must have been a difficult decision. There's many people I would like to thank you to. The most important person for this film, I think, is my co-editor, Vedant Joshi, in India. Thank you, Vedant, for the beautiful collaboration and work that you did to the film. I want to thanks to Shaunak. I'm so happy that you chose me for your film, and we've been on this beautiful journey together, finding the film in the editing room in the cold of Copenhagen. Thank you to Aman, our producer in India, who came up to Copenhagen in December, actually, precisely a year ago. You've just been fantastic support all the way through. Thank you, Teddy, from Rice Films. Also, tremendous support throughout the whole process. I have to thank HBO, Sideshow, Submarine, Cinetic, the entire team in India, and I hope I didn't forget anyone. Thank you so much.
Let's take a look at the final 5 nominees for Best Documentary Feature Film.
Miha.
We inherit our family's dreams, but also their fears. We hurt, but we do what we can to heal.
You're a Latina, and it's something powerful.
Navalny.
Alexei Navalny has taken on the most dangerous job in the world, challenging the leader of the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin.
I was banned from everything and blacklisted. But as I became more and more famous, I was totally sure that it will be problematic for them to kill me.
And boy, were you wrong.
Yes, I was very wrong.
No Simple Way Home.
Our last oath of office will be administered to Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng Demadio.
How did we win the war, win our freedom, and then lose everything?
The Pawn Shop.
Mamy ponad 70 000 przedmiotów, proszę pani. Na pewno coś pani wybierze. Zastawy, szkło, porcelana, obrazy, lampy. Jest tego multum.
O co wam chodzi? Robię wszystko, żebyście, prawda, miały pracę. Bo wy ze mną nie pójdziecie.
Gdzie nie pójdziemy?
Na bruk.
A gdzie my jesteśmy w tej chwili?
Pójdziecie po prostu, to idźcie teraz.
Young Plato.
Time to think for yourself. Violence breeds violence. But you boys have the power to stop it.
There's 3 words. Stop, fight, peace.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yes. Cinematography has the power to transport us into worlds mesmerizing and poetic, jarring and dramatic. The nominees for Best Cinematography are
All That Breathes, Fire of Love, Geographies of Solitude, A House Made of Splinters, Octopus.
and the 2022 Best Cinematography Award goes to Fire of Love.
I'm truly speechless. Thank you so much to the IDA for this award and for this nomination. Thank you so much, National Geographic, Neon, Submarine, Cottage M, Intuitive Pictures. I'm going to forget so many people because I'm truly speechless because this award is dedicated to 2 phenomenal people who are no longer with us, Katya and Maurice Kraft. They've been the greatest inspiration of my own life, and they brought together our incredible team to tell this love story. It was our greatest intention to use, their love for the beguiling mysteries of the planet that drew them so close with cameras to the, elemental forces of creation and destruction. To really get to interpret that material was a true gift in our personal lives, and the fact that they're now honored 31 years after their passing. It's incredible. I'm so touched by this. I just wish that they were here to see this honor. They've been celebrated as scientists, but now to be celebrated as artists and cinematographers, it's an incredible gift. I'm not equipped to speak on their behalf, but just thank you. It's very humbling to try to attempt to do so. So thank you, IDA. Thank you to my entire team for this honor.
Congratulations. Yes, please. Writing and documentary filmmaking is about sculpting words, images, and moments, so their sequencing creates the blueprint for compelling narratives. The nominees for the IDA Documentary Award for Best Writing are
8 Stories About My Hearing Loss, Eternal Spring, Fire of Love, Last Flight Home, No Simple Way Home.
And the 2022 Best Writing Award goes to Fire of Love. What? Come on back. Come on back. Another one.
to be up here again, so I get a little do-over, because I so clumsily stumbled my way through that last time. First, just congratulations to my incredible writing team, Jocelyn Chaput, Aaron Casper, Shane Boris, also editors, Jocelyn and Aaron, and Shane is also a producer. I want to thank the rest of our incredible Fire of Love team, Ina Fitchman, Greg Busta, Jess Harrop, Carolyn Bernstein, Josh Braun, Ben Schwartz, Elijah Stevens, Amy Miller, Christine Richelot, Nancy Marcotte, Nicolas Godin, Miranda July, and so many others that made this film possible. I want to extend a volcano-sized thank you again to National Geographic Films for putting this film out into the world. And I just want to say that when we began this process, we didn't want to write narration, actually, for Fire of Love. We really hoped that the craft's extraordinary cinematography would speak for itself. But like so many of you know in this room, there's tremendous challenges that you don't expect when you begin the documentary process. And we knew that in order to tell a love story, we would need a new kind of narrative vehicle to bring their mythic love to the screen. We decided to adopt this style of narration inspired by the French New Wave and Catherine Maurice's own writings to tell their story. And we did so in a deeply collaborative process filled with many challenges, but such joy. So thank you so much to our wonderful team, and again for this honor.
Our next presenter is an NAACP Image Award and Peabody Award-winning producer, director, and writer known for the IDA award-winning documentary, Mr. Soul. Please welcome Melissa Haizlip.
This award recognizes an ongoing documentary series that consists of unified episodes. This year's nominees include explorations of America's diverse outdoor landscapes. They feature inventive profiles of today's game-changing icons and hip-hop's groundbreaking stars. They transport us on a global journey into the world of biomimicry and adaptation. And they deliver immersive reporting from the front lines of global conflicts. Here are the nominees for Best Episodic Series.
America Outdoors with Baratunde Thurston.
We think we invent things and create things and define ourselves by ourselves. But that's not the whole story. The truth is, we are co-authors with the world around us.
Dear Viola.
Dear Sandra.
Thank you, Jane, for inspiring me to stand up for myself and make sure that I'm heard.
You never know what the impact of your actions are going to be, and then you read a letter like this.
What is your voice? What are you going to do with that small dash of time that you have?
Evolve.
Are the answers to humanity's greatest challenges all around us?
We're just making sure I'm friends with your camel.
I'm Patrick I. This global journey is the culmination of my years in the wild.
Look how close they get, wow.
To see how evolution can shape our future.
Origins of hip hop.
I was in a car and it was like, yo, that's me. I'm on the radio. I felt like I'm supposed to be here.
This style of DJing didn't exist. It's almost like something was calling me.
Junior high, they would bully me every day, and that's when I started writing raps.
Vice.
There's a fine line between neutrality and truthfulness.
Is Brittany Griner being used by the Russian government as a political prisoner?
The companies perpetuate violence in order to make money.
What about your government? Do you accept bribes?
Who are you?
We're journalists.
And the award for Best Episodic Series goes to Origins of Hip Hop.
I know everybody said that they weren't expecting to win, and I really wasn't, so I didn't prepare anything. So I will tell you what my wife has told me since we've been married for 22 years. I better thank her first. So thank you to my wife, Natasha, who's always been by me. But thank you to Mass Appeal, Peter Bittenbender, Sasha, Naz, Phoenix. Thank you to A&E, Brad, Amira over there for allowing me to tell an authentic story of these artists who usually get overlooked for their creativity and for the drama and other things they're in, but allowing to represent for the culture in a manner that it was needed at this time. So I really appreciated the award. Thank you, IDA, and everybody associated here with it. Thank you, everybody. Okay.
So this next award recognizes a documentary consisting of episodes that are viewed sequentially to tell a complete story. This year's nominees include the story of a woman's harrowing journey to build an underground network for abused children. There's a provocative study of the Iran hostage crisis and an engrossing examination of a church leader's criminal case. They dissect the chilling controversies of Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island accident and deftly unpack the culture surrounding a disgraced entertainer. Here are the nominees for Best Multi-Part Documentary Series.
Children of the Underground.
I caught my ex-husband in the act of molesting my daughter. The judge didn't believe it, and she was court-ordered to live with this child molester. When your firstborn is taken out of your arms and handed to someone that you know is dangerous, I'd choose being a fugitive any day.
Hostages.
The American embassy in Tehran is in the hands of Muslim students tonight.
They're holding the Americans hostage.
There was an unholy pact between the United States and Iran.
The special relationship was money.
It seemed to me that the oil wealth wasn't trickling down to the people.
Carter never dreamed it would go on 444 days.
Keep sweet, pray, and obey.
In our minds, the police, even the President of the United States, had no authority over us. Warren Jeffs was our president. He was the prophet. And how could you place a human over God?
Warren Jeffs took over this religion and turned it into money and power and sex.
You will come around and see the light. We love you.
I love all of you.
And go, what the
Meltdown. 3 Mile Island.
Middletown, Pennsylvania is on edge tonight.
There was a mindset throughout the industry.
Highways are backed up and telephones are jammed.
A major accident could never happen.
Critical questions remain to be answered.
And I believe that. But I was wrong.
There were indications that the accident was a massive cover-up.
We need to talk about Cosby.
Do not edit this. A lot of people knew. Because you can't do what he did unless you have other people supporting what you're doing.
He's just talking about how to drug women.
Beautiful women. They were lined up outside of his dressing room.
What did you think was going on?
He looked at me and he said, "Fooled him again."
You don't often learn that your hero's the worst sorts of villain.
And the award for Best Multi-Part Documentary Series goes to We Need to Talk About Cosby.
Oh my gosh, I'm blind. Thank you, IDA. I want to also thank Boardwalk Pictures and Showtime for supporting us on what was a very long and challenging process of making this show. W. Kamau Bell and myself and the entire team are so grateful for all the recognition that this series has received, not just because you're recognizing our work, but you're also recognizing and validating all of the people we interviewed. Most importantly, the survivors who have waited so long to have their stories heard and believed. We hope that the series continues to encourage conversations. We also hope that it can encourage real action to help prevent sexual assault and harassment and create a true system of justice for all who have experienced it.
Thank you to the IDA, thank you and congratulations to our entire team, Kamau, and of course, thank you to all of the survivors who participated in this project with us. You know, this started as a conversation that Kamau and I were having about old stand-up comics, and what do we do with comedy that we love? And it was ambitious and intimidating, and a conversation that continued over years with our partners and our team and our collaborators and the community in this room, the people, the storytellers, the truth tellers in this room and in this community outside of this room really pushed us all, I think, to make this what it ultimately became. We're so appreciative of the time we're in. It's been said that we're in this golden age of nonfiction storytelling, and I believe that to be so, having been here, lucky enough to be here over the last few years. We need to keep that going. There are so many places closing, so many people who are losing jobs who buy these projects from us, and we need to just encourage our partners and our friends to keep telling ambitious and intimidating stories that are urgent and important and beautiful and interesting and weird and all of these things that we've been so fortunate to tell over the last few years as this streaming boom has happened. And so I'm just hoping that we can continue to do that. And I thank everybody in this room and beyond for being this community for us. Thank you.
Our next presenter is an executive producer of the IDA and Pulitzer Prize-winning podcast, Suave. She is the founder of Feature Media. Please welcome Maria Hinojosa.
What's up? Come on, I'm still awake and I'm on New York Times. This is an incredible thing. And I'm so happy to be here in person with all of these extraordinary LA people. Also, I have an opportunity to say thank you to the IDAs for giving us the award last year for Suave. He says thank you, and we're busy working on season 2, so yeah. All right, this year's nominees celebrate the icons of jazz, morna, pop, and an institution that supported the biggest names in hip-hop. They stretch the limits of the documentary form and showcase the spiritual, feminist, and fearless talents of musical visionaries. Let's take a look at this year's nominees for Best Music Documentary.
Cesaria Evora.
Está aquela coisa que me gostar desde jovem, sempre. Da Baribote me está a cantar assim. Pessoas começam a gostar da minha voz. Estão a ficar convencidas que me era uma cantora de facto.
O que é que vou te pensar fazer se um dia vou ganhar dinheiro? Quero que a primeira coisa que vou deixar que vou te
ensinar. A primeira é casa que não tem falta. Se eles deixam-me cantar um budismo para numa casa, meus filhos são mal de mim também. Aquele é que me senti na vida, lembras?
Louis Armstrong's Black and Blues.
Louis said Ike and the government could go to hell.
Everybody was astonished, but privately, he expressed stuff like that all his life.
My only sin
all over the world
is in my skin.
He had the respect
they laugh at you
and the love of millions.
And scorn you too. What did I do?
What more can any man ask for?
To be so black and blue.
Yeah.
Moon Age Daydream.
alligator.
And how about the shoes? Are those men's shoes or women's shoes or bisexual shoes? They're shoes, silly.
Nothing compares.
Every person's duty to themselves is to act on their feelings and to say when they think something is wrong.
And take the consequences.
I imagine so.
She blows the candle out, she goes off stage. I had gone into the dressing room after her and I said, you know, I can't get you out of this. And she said, you know what? I don't want you to.
You're watching Video Music Box.
Somebody had to start it. It's like Moses and the apostles. It's biblical for us.
Video Music Box, Ralph McDaniel, that's the only thing we had.
Everybody thought hip-hop was just gonna be a phase. No, Ralph carried it on his back like Santa.
Seeing people that look like you, unapologetically hip-hop, unapologetically black, it empowered a whole culture.
The Best Music Documentary Award goes to Louis Armstrong's Black and Blues.
Hi. This young lady here knows my wife, so just let her know that I thanked her first. Thank you, Raquel Cepeda. Come on over here, Julie. Okay. This is our producer, Julie. It takes a village to make a film like this. Shout out some of the village.
We had a small but mighty crew. It consisted of Milka Palmer, Jason Pollard, our editor, did an amazing job. Heck Arrayas, who did our animation, which if you've seen the film is really extraordinary.
Nas, I'd like to thank Nas, who lended his voice. And Terrence Blanchard, who did an amazing score. And our friends at Imagine Entertainment and our friends at Apple.
Molly Thompson, Sarah Bernstein, Justin Wilkes, we couldn't have done this without their support.
You know, I just want to say I didn't know much about Louis Armstrong. I had a perception of, I thought I knew who he was, and when I learned who he was, I was completely blown away. He was a fine artist, he was a comedian, he had style, he had opinions. He was born in 1901, and people wanted to say that he really wasn't a part of civil rights. Well, being an artist, you should understand, for many people is a privilege. And many of us never had that privilege. When he was coming up, he was being groomed to serve people. But you know what he did? He served his art. And the world has not been the same since. So thank you, Louis Armstrong, for the gig. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd have this gig. And thanks to the IDA. Thank you all.
I would like to take this moment to honor some of those we've lost in 2022. Among them were luminaries that pioneered new forms of documentary filmmaking and storytelling, and 67 journalists who lost their lives in pursuit of the facts and information democracy needs to survive. Tonight, let us remember their lives and their legacies.
I definitely want to make films that have people thinking about what kind of world do we want to live in.
You going for a walk? Yeah, we're going for a little bit of a walk.
I never think of myself as being a little nothing. I think of myself as being a big something.
Are you exhausted?
The Emmy for Exceptional Merit goes to the team from A Lion in the House.
When you set out to make a documentary, you really don't know where it's going to lead you. You don't know how long it's going to take, and sometimes you don't really know exactly why you're making it.
Do you really feel as though, as if they found out now that you had been a communist, that they'd somehow decide you aren't a good person now?
What would you say to them?
I love you. And I love them all.
If you could be doing anything right now, what would it be?
Right now? Oh, wow.
What voice do you have? When have you ever had a voice?
One of the things that makes the movie powerful is the fact that it's not black and white. There's a bunch of gray.
It's not an editorial. I mean, you truly let people speak for themselves.
Can't you see me? I'm right in front of your eyes. I'm here. I figure now I can handle anything.
Do you have any questions about, if we quit fighting and
No.
you're going home and you're...
That's not a possibility.
There was just simply no question at all in your mind who you were and what you were and why you were. What was the meaning of life? You had that answer.
You don't have to be cookie cutter. You make your way.
We gotta get on this again. We gotta get on this again.
Please welcome Elise Perlstein, who will say a few words about Julia Reichert.
Hi. So I think a lot of you knew Julia. She was a fierce advocate for the working class, the labor movement, the feminist movement, and for Midwestern stories. Across her more than 50-year career, she received 4 Academy Award nominations and 1 win, 2 Primetime Emmys, a Directors Guild Award, and 2 Peabody noms. In 2018, the IDA awarded her the Career Achievement Award, honoring her incredible legacy as a filmmaker and builder of the documentary community. Reichert's first film, Growing Up Female, was the first feature documentary to grow out of the women's liberation movement. In 1971, frustrated with the lack of distribution options for women and for films by and about women, Reichert co-founded New Day Films, the democratically run documentary film distribution cooperative. 50 years later, New Day Films is still going strong and has over 140 active members. Julia's Academy Award nominations include Union Maids, Seeing Red, Stories of American Communists, and The Last Truck, the closing of a GM plant. Each of these films tells stories of working people in America and their struggles for agency, power, and a decent life. Reichert's A Lion in the House, a co-production with ITVS, won the Primetime Emmy for Exceptional Merit in Nonfiction Filmmaking, as well as the Henry Hampton Award for Excellence in Digital Media, Film and Digital Media. The world knew her as a godmother of American independent documentaries. She was beloved by her students as an educator and mentor. Just as important, she was a partner, mother, grandmother, and friend. I had the honor of working with Julia on American Factory, which she co-directed with her frequent partner, not husband, partner, and collaborator, Stephen Bognar. Julia was a force of nature, fiercely independent, brilliant, driven, extremely fun, and tenacious as hell. The other day, I shared a memory with Steve that to me epitomizes Julia's will. I'd flown out to Ohio so we could close the loop on a sensitive issue with the chairman of Fuyao Glass America, the head of Fuyao Glass America, Chairman Chow. We entered the factory that morning determined that we would not leave until it was done. So after meeting for hours under the portrait of the chairman and then for hours more in closed rooms, we were there. All we had to do was wait downstairs until he called us back up. So next thing we know, we see the chairman stepping into a black SUV and racing off to the airport. And his rep came up to us and said, "Don't worry, he'll be back in Ohio soon and we'll wrap this up." So Julia charged for the door, keys in hand, and it took everything in our power to talk her out of chasing the SUV, confronting the chairman on the tarmac. I'm sure she would have followed him onto the plane. We did prevail, and she stood down, but eventually we resolved that issue, premiered the film at Sundance, where Julie and Steve won the directing award, released it on Netflix with the Obama's Higher Grant Productions, and won an Academy Award. So it worked out, but I will never forget the fire in her eyes and that passion to do whatever it takes for the good of the film. It was truly a gift getting to know Julia, how she imbues her spirit into every frame, how she inspires and uplifts all of her collaborators. Julia, you will be missed. Tonight we remember you and your legacy. Thank you.
Please welcome Maria Hinojosa back to the stage.
Should have actually been salsa music, but that's okay. I'm a jazz aficionado as well. Directing takes everything. Vision, curiosity, flexibility, grit, passion. With extraordinary art and craft, these talented directors have brought urgent explorations of the world into our lives. Here are the nominees for Best Director.
Laura Poitras for All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. Lukasz Kowalski for The Pawn Shop. Sarah Dosa for Fire of Love. Shanak Sen for All That Breathes. Simon Lering Wilmot for A House Made of Splinters.
And the award for Best Director goes to Shanak Sen, All That Breathes.
Thank you. I don't have it written out anymore. Direction, of course, is a very, very lonely thing, and you don't know when the film ends, and it's a kind of fever dream, and you've jumped off a cliff, and it's a kind of embrace of the radical unscriptedness of life, which means the hard drives keep filling on, and it just goes on. But in this film, actually, me and all the assistant directors and Aman all actually lived in the same house for a full year. I don't mean this metaphorically. We literally lived in the same house for a year, and so it really was a village that led to the film. Similarly, the cinematographers, Riju and Ben, the editors, Charlotte and Vedant, all of them shaped the film together alongside our producers, Teddy, David. So I just, it's a really, it was a lot of people and a lot of heads together. And so thank you very much to the IDA. I also want to say that I really love all the other films, and one of the best parts of this whole campaign journey is the friendships that have happened with the other directors, so which I'm sure I'll really cherish. Thank you so much for that.
Please welcome Sterlin Harjo.
Short films exemplify innovative storytelling. They have the ability to take us to places near and far with economy and razor-sharp precision. Let's take a look at the nominees for Best Short Documentary.
What they've been taught.
It's just little things like that in the language that make you understand that the way that we look at the world is different.
The benevolence.
T'allais bonjour? Ça va pas? Vous dites que vous ne savez pas pourquoi ça ne va pas?
The Dream Life of Georgie Stone.
I keep thinking of the moments that have led me here.
How do you feel about the treatment that you want to have?
I want to make sure this doesn't play the same part in anyone else's life.
Haul Out. I am trying to remember. In Flow of Words.
Do you believe that your sons are alive today?
No. No, they're not alive.
Love, Barbara.
Many ask if doing all this is hard for me. No, it is a great gift. It keeps you close. Keeps me amazed, as you did for 31 years.
Nuisance Bear. The Silent Shore.
C'est une ado, hein. Elle avait que 17 ans.
La maison est pleine de souvenirs, le jardin est plein de souvenirs.
Two Spirit.
Ai, que essa teca minha. Kasati mayarak suman. Essa sai pikasuma. Monas tahitete monai.
And the award for Best Short Documentary goes to Haul Out.
Not the filmmaker. So thank you for this honor. I'm Sujan Kang, the executive producer of the New Yorker documentary. I'm here to accept this award for the filmmakers, Evgenia Arbugeva and her brother, Maxim, who could not be here tonight. They send this simple message. We'd like to thank our brave and dedicated protagonist for letting us into his life, and Chucky community of Euromino Village for welcoming and supporting us, and IDA for recognizing the important issue of climate emergency in our homeland, the Arctic. I want to thank you to David Remnick at The New Yorker and Agnes Chu for supporting this independent documentary filmmaking community. The New Yorker had 7 nominations tonight, and I want to congratulate to all the filmmakers who are here tonight. Thank you.
Our next presenter is a New York Times best-selling author and Emmy nominee known for this year's IDA-nominated episodic series, America Outdoors with Baratunde Thurston. Please welcome Baratunde Thurston.
Hey, let's give it up for the fonts on the left side of the slides. They're beautiful. When I say that, you should, do it. The 10 films nominated for Best Feature Documentary are diverse in subject matter, scope, and form. They are topical and sharply observed and celebrate the resilience of individuals striving for change amidst environmental chaos and crisis, state-sanctioned violence, and corporate greed. And they exemplify a commitment to honesty, storytelling, creative boldness, and journalistic rigor. Here are the 2022 nominees.
All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, A House Made of Splinters, Katrina Babies, Mija, Navalny, No Simple Way Home, The Pawn Shop, Young Plato.
Just gonna leave it hanging for a little minute. It's drama. And the 2022 award for Best Feature Documentary goes to All That Breathes.
Thank you. After a whole evening of so many thankses, I'm looking for a non-trivial way to say thank you. Thank you so much. The film itself really feels like a tiny miracle because Aman and I, we couldn't believe that we got financing. We couldn't believe that we found producers, festivals, distributors. So it really feels a bit unbelievable and blurry. Thank you so much to IDA, and we had a written thing prepared, but I've lost it on the phone now. Thank you.
Look at that. Cheers. Look at all these people. So that's a wrap on the 38th Annual IDA Documentary Awards. I'm Jenny Yang, and thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun. Let's go party. Cheers.